Hello, cats and kittens. Odewa Jose Yoroshiku. We're back on the Crisis Corner, and this is my review of One Piece 860. Title being The Party Begins at 10. I'm happy to hear that because as good as the build-up has been, I'm ready for the party to start. And I know many of you are too. So let's get into it. There's a. It was a good chapter. It had a few pretty big revelations in there. First of which, starting with Jinbei, we find out exactly why he didn't spin the wheel, and it makes sense. Apparently, Big Mom was going to eliminate the number of individuals in his crew that came up on her wheel. If the wheel hit 10 of her people, and Jinbei were going to be killed, 50, 100, or whatever. So actually, it was very honorable of him not to spin the wheel, as as opposed to Pedro. Pedro only had to lose. I mean, not only, but he lost 50 years of his life in the eye. But it was just him. Jinbei had to look out for his crew. So actually, he did the honorable thing, even though he lost face. So that was clarified. It looks like Peckham is going to be out of the loop for a little while. They left him high and dry, even though they did leave him with a little bottle of water with a straw. You know, they told him try to get found as soon as you can, but he's tied up to a rock. He's had a rough arc. Peckham's has had a rough arc. I feel bad for the guy. Now he's tied up with, at least he got some water, but he's got to wait to get saved unless he escapes and tells mom about the ambush that the Luffy Beige Alliance is plotting against her. Which, if the party starts at 10, I don't think he's going to be a big factor. He may come in the middle of the melee at some point, but I don't think he's going to be a huge factor because the party's basically just about to start. So we have that. I'm also curious about Fishman Island. At this point, it actually makes sense that Jinbei would join in the alliance because at this point, I can say it makes sense, but betraying Big Mom at this point means Fishman Island is wide open. So once he sets his mind on betrayal, she's got to go because if she survives, Fishman Island is going up in smoke. We see what she does to people that don't come to her party. You know, she cutting heads off at people that you know and that you love just as recompense for you not coming to her party. If you betray her, Fishman Island is done. So either she dies or Fishman Island dies at this point. So they pretty much have to go ahead with the assassination plan. Uh, he doesn't have too many options in that regard. And he did confirm that he means to join the Straw Hat crew. Yay! So Jinbei's means to join the Straw Hat crew if he doesn't get killed first. But he did. He swore allegiance to his captain, Straw Hat Luffy. Soldier! And he means to join the crew and protect Luffy with his life. Almost sounds like he's about to get murdered, but hopefully not, because Jinbei is cool. Uh, what else happens here? The Vin Smokes. I still think the Vin Smokes have something up their sleeves, although at this point it looks like they're walking blind to the slaughter. It seems like they're completely oblivious of any shenanigans that's plotted against them, which Judge doesn't strike me as being that stupid. Although maybe he is, I don't know. But it seems to me that Judge would not walk in there. His German 6-6 soldiers are not allowed into the party, so it's just him and his family walking in to a nest of gangsters and pirates. Uh, he can't be so foolish as to think that if something goes wrong, he's gonna be all right. There's some strong people there. Just within Big Mom's crew, there's strong people. Big Mom herself, if she had decided to turn on them, what would they do? So I think Judge has something up his sleeve. I really do, but we'll have to find out. Uh, the guests that are represented at the the guests that have been invited. First thing I try to do is trying to research and see if there was any correlation between the guests that are invited and like the Valentine's Day massacre. Or I'm not too up on Game of Thrones in terms of uh, the families that were at that massacre, but the Red Wedding. So I don't really know. But we see that there's some well designed and odd looking people. The one that sticks out the most to me is the Lord of the Coos, or whatever you want to call him, from the Big News Morgan. He look like he's the head of the News Coos that always bring news to people in the One Piece world. We got a mortician. He about to get paid. And some lady that's supposed to be, what's her name? Stussy, the queen of the pleasure quarter. I don't know if you're talking about like, you know, ladies of the night or what. This other fella, the mortician, Drug Peklo. This other guy, Deep Ocean Current Amit. And God of Fortune, Duthil, Black Market King. So these are all gangsters and nefarious underworld guys. Especially the Morgan fellow who says he has ties with Germa. Now, is mom inviting him because they're friends, or because she intends to eliminate Morgan too? Because if Morgan is a bigwig in the underworld and you cut down people that he likes, that he's associated with, he's not just going to be like, hey, pass me some cake. He's going to be like, why'd you cut down my man? And he'll go to war too. So maybe the plot is to invite these underworld guys because she means to kill them anyway. Possible. I mean, Big Mom is vicious like that. We seen that. So these people could be getting set up to get took out, which means they're possible allies in the escape. That's because it's looking very bad in terms of the Straw Hat Alliance getting out of there. Quite frankly, it's looking quite bad. Because, which brings us to our next. Well, I do want to say this on page 9. Beautiful page. The little candy staircase thing. I don't know how long it took them to draw that. That's a fantastic visual. The escalator, candy escalator, and even the design of the fella that created it. He been putting in work. He been drawing his butt off with this particular chapter, yes, but for the most part, having to come up with all of this fantasy type drawing and Alice in Wonderland imagery and so forth. Oda's been putting in a lot of work. That's probably why he took so many breaks. But kudos. Now, which brings us to this fellow. What's his name? Dogtooth. Or Dog Breath, or whatever his name is. No, Charlotte Dogtooth. Or they call him also Katakuri. This guy, we do get understanding of Haki that it can be honed, observation can be honed to the point of, as Capone put it, he's trained his observation Haki so much that apparently he sees a bit into the future. Now that's similar to what Luffy did at the big fight at Marineford. I'm not saying that he hasn't trained his Haki to that level. I'm not saying that he has, but that's similar to what he did when who was it? Mihawk. Mihawk was about to cut him up, and he pulled his bazooka short of getting his arms cut off because he foresaw that. Which is basically what this guy's doing. I guess maybe he's just really good at it. And he got a bounty, the highest bounty that we've seen so far. So, and his power, I guess, is it related to jelly beans or is it related to something else? So he has the advanced Haki, plus he has an ability that's related to food, just like the rest of the Big Mouth's people. I'm guessing it has something to do with candy or jelly beans or something to that effect. But these guys are strong. These commanders are pretty strong. And I don't know if there's any one person in the alliance, in Luffy's alliance, that could take any one of them. You saw it took days for him and Nami to battle against cracker, and they barely defeated him. Now you got other people like this fella, Dog's Tooth. You got uh, Juicer and all these people running around. Not to mention Big Mom herself. If that bullet goes off and it bounces off of her and misses, if all three of them bullets miss, or if just the insanity of expecting Luffy to follow through with an intricate plan, or expecting what's his name, that's crazy doctor to actually be the backup that gets them to be their backup to get them out of there. Um, there's a lot of holes in this plan. There's a lot of holes in this plan. A lot of ways things can go wrong. It's too intricate for the people that's involved in it for it to go off without a hitch. Well, there's hope, but I don't see much hope. It's going to be a big, big melee, and all hell's going to break loose. And the question is, how are they going to escape with their lives? And this is the tail end of the year of Sanji. Sanji has got to shine. Sanji's got to come up big some kind of way in this arc for us to look back and say this was the year of Sanji. Even though it's spilling into the next year, but the year of Sanji, you thinking, dude represented. He stood up, man. He was a boss and he did something. You know, he got some shine out of this. And so far, he's been getting smacked around since Dressrosa. So I got to see that man come up, and I got to see that man come up big. All said, it was a good arc. I'm just ready for the win to start. As good as this arc is, I think, especially the new people that are introduced, I think a lot of that's going to factor out down the road. All of the heads of the underworld, either they're here to get murdered, or they'll factor out some kind of way in the story, but the total weight of their being introduced will come down the road, maybe, or a little bit later. But there's too many people involved in this thing for everybody to. You're not going to get those long one-on-one battles like we got in Dressrosa. That's not going to happen. Otherwise, this is going to stretch on until 2018. I don't know how this is going to end. I don't know if anybody knows how this is going to end. Well, we know they're not going to be killed, all of them. Some might not make it out, but we know that the Straw Hats are going to eventually leave and go on to Wano. But outside of that, and that's beautiful because you don't know how it's going to end. You just got to sit back and watch. So I'm happy that Oda's not on break next week. We're going to get another chapter this Thursday, and I hope to get my review in Thursday night. That's the hope. So until then, thanks for watching this, and I'll catch you next time. Stay loose.